Hey there, Niyama Shang here. Question for you. Are you setting yourself up for an uphill battle before you even enter a conversation? Right now, we are having more conversations around topics that matter from social and racial injustice to the systems and institutions that make up our country and our worlds. We're having conversations around what the future of the world will look like post-corona and actually like during this period of COVID-19. Uh, we're having conversations with ourselves as to what it is that we want for ourselves and what we want going forward. And we are engaging in conversations with one another in an open and honest way around topics that really matter. And one of the things that I've been noticing when I've been having conversations with people, like I'm someone that people will go and be willing to step in to having uh, to go into the places that most people feel uncomfortable with. Like, in fact, if we're not having that conversation during this time, if the two of us aren't having that conversation, we're probably not having a conversation at all. And one of the things that I'm realizing is there's a constant use of like the words like I know we're going to have a difficult conversation, or I understand that this conversation is really difficult, or now that we're having this hard conversation, let's have this here. And it's something where actually I actually pause almost every time that it happens, and I'm like, to be honest, I'm not holding this conversation that way. I'm like, I'm not holding this as a difficult conversation before we even get into it. For me, this is an important and meaningful conversation, one that we need to have, one that in and of itself should be taking place. But it doesn't need to be hard for me. It doesn't need to be difficult for me. Doesn't mean it's going to be comfortable, but it doesn't need to be uncomfortable either. The chances are it will be uncomfortable because that's why we're having it. But there's a space here that has gotten me to come out and just like want to just bring out this as a distinction. Bring it out here just to see. I use the word important and meaningful. That's what resonates with me. But really, it's really about our individual opportunities as people who are having ownership of how we're engaging in these conversations. Just being mindful of the language that we're using as we even set up those conversations, the language that we're using throughout those conversations, and how might that actually impact where someone's mindset is or someone's willingness to be a part of the conversation. I know I show up differently when I'm having an important conversation with someone. The difficulty of it actually is minimized or becomes irrelevant because of how important that conversation becomes. And so I want to just offer this here as an invitation for us to take a look at the language that we're using as we continue to navigate conversations that matter. We can do this. We can do this in a different way. And I use the word important and meaningful. I'll be curious, what are some of the other words that you use to differentiate these conversations that you're having, or to create a space around having that conversation that matters? I'm really curious. Go ahead and just leave me a comment. Let me know. And if you're interested in having an important and meaningful conversation, I'm doing it all the time now within the Trailblazer Tribe. We're also having different conversations around racial injustice as part of our Racism 20 program, and looking to look at the future of both America and the world overall in terms of the vision that we have for our future and how we can start bringing that to life right now in our Possibility 2045 program. So if any of those, if you're interested in actually being in a space where these conversations are happening on a regular basis with people who are they're they're globally minded, they're socially conscious, and they're impact driven, then send me a message. We have some places for you here. But regardless, I think the bigger impact is if in your next conversation, the next time you hear someone bring up the a difficult conversation, if you can take that space to just create the space for it to be something other and do that intentionally, whether it's an important and meaningful conversation or some other language that's more resonant to you, I think that we'll continue to see some increase in strides with the progress that we're making. All right, it's a practice. We're in this for a longer haul here, and if we can practice actually setting up spaces that will continue to be conducive for us, we'll go a long way. I'm Niyama Shang. Leave me your thoughts on this topic here. I'd love to continue this conversation with you, and let me know how else I can support. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey, Oniyama here. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and then go ahead and leave one of your insights from today's video in the comments below. If you're looking to take this deeper, you can go and watch another video, or you can go to niyama.com/tribe to get exclusive invitation to our tribe member only events. I'll see you soon.